Hi there, it's Trisha from Easy Emini Trade, and I want to go over a couple things from Thursday and Friday. Also, would like to let you know that I have come up with a date for the evening webinar, which will be Thursday, January 21st at 8 p.m., and we'll go over all the setups and give examples and so forth, and also allow time to ask questions. So you can go to the website and get more information on that, www.easyeminitrade.com. Just click on the tab at the top of the page for January 21st webinar. So this is Thursday that you're looking at, and this was 9:36 in the morning, first thing. And know that we have 1100 right above us, and we do have a setup occurring. Get it closed outside the channel, everything's in line to take it. So took it, didn't get right up to that area, so unfortunately got stopped out. We're looking to just get up to there and then see if we can get through it, because we know sometimes first thing in the morning, and first thing in the morning really has been ignoring all of the support and resistance areas, but usually that first just couple minutes, like 9:31, 2, 3, that area, but was worth the chance, at least if we could get up to 1100. Did not do that, so was stopped out on that trade. This was at 10:55, so basically entry on the 10:56 bar. Get a close outside the channel, everything's in line to take it. We enter in above this bar, quarter above this bar, expecting to hopefully get back to our previous high or somewhere in that vicinity, which was 99.50. Failed to get up to that 99.50, but we had already taken 3/4 of a point off on 2/3 and then moved our stop to our entry. So small profit on that, and then moved the stop to our entry. Setup during lunch at 11:46 would have been, you did get closed outside the channel here, but this was a very strong support area. This is equivalent to the 1100 on our daily chart. So wanted to get below that in order to take something. We had said if we got below that, you could take something, and this occurred at lunch, so many people did take this. And you would enter in a quarter under this bar, and took a little while, but you did get your point out of it. Likely you would have taken 2/3 off at +1 and move your stop to your entry, and of course then you would have been stopped out at your entry on your remaining contracts. Set up here as well during lunch, and this was at 12:44, would have entered in it on the 12:45 bar and got your point on this bar here. So again, first target up to, if you're going to take 2/3 off there and then move your stop to your entry, then of course you were stopped out at your entry. So both of these were good for a point. This was setting up outside the channel, everything in line, and that was at 148, so would have gotten in at 149. And unfortunately, right after getting in, we have divergence to the upside, lower low with a higher low, and unfortunately that's the bar that we got filled on. So you could flatten and cancel when you see divergence going in the direction against you, or you're just going to have to let your stop get hit and take you out that way. So totally up to you. We did have room below us, at least down to this area here of 1091. There was plenty of room below us, it just did not go, and unfortunately the divergence occurred after we already entered the trade. And this is close to 4 o'clock, so not likely anything that you're going to want to do with that. Friday had some decent setups for sure. I traded in the morning only until 11:30, so I'll point those out. But first thing in the morning, you do have your strong area here of 1095, which is equivalent to the 1100 on the daily chart. If you're, and also of course if you're able to trade off the continuous. Yellow is the close from Thursday, and the blue is just an area that we had been watching. It was a strong area of support and resistance, so still on their floor trader pivot point right here. So we open, and nothing really sets up right off the bat that you can take. Now I did want to point out, if you're willing to trade the channels as a range trade or take something because you're hitting the 50% retracement, at this time it's almost 10 o'clock, and likely that you are going to pull back when you hit this 50% retracement. So what I wanted to point out is you hit the upper channel, failed to break through it, and you have an area of resistance above you, which is the 50% retracement. You have a higher high here than you have here, while here you have a lower high. So that would lead you to believe that it would at least move down. So if somebody were a little more aggressive, they could take that expecting it at least to hit the bottom channel. So that trade would have worked out nicely if somebody had decided to take it. So I just wanted to point that out, because you can use the channels just to take range trades. But the thing about first thing in the morning is that it's a little hard to determine that you're in a range because it is early. But this is a little bit different because you were at resistance, you were at the 50% retracement, which we know typically is a difficult area to get through. This setup here occurred at 10:35. You would have been in on it 10:36, under this bar, a quarter under this bar, and this trade worked out nicely. You would have got your point out of it, and then you would have moved your stop to your entry and been stopped out. I actually took 2/3 off. We have the low here right below us, so I just wanted to get profitable, and then then leave that final third. So this way, if I could make it down to this low from the previous day, then great, I still have an opportunity to do so, but was stopped out on my entry over here. You did have another opportunity to enter here in the pullback to the middle line. So everything's still in line. You're still above 20. Everything's still in line to take that. So when you close back under the middle channel, middle line here, you could actually enter below there. I chose to take it expecting that worst case I would only get back down to here. Best case would be that I could get to the low from Thursday. That's what the orange line is right below us. So worked out nicely. Actually was able to ride that one for a while. So actually made my first target on a third 3/4 of a point, because what I was thinking was if I only came down to this previous low here, that's only a point away. So we know that because of that quarter spread, if it trades just to that, I'm not going to get a full point. So what I did was I made my first target 3/4 of a point, my second target a point, and then the final third I just trail stopped. So what I did was I just left my stop at my entry on my remaining third, and was anticipating that we could hopefully get to the low here, and we did get to the low right here, and just kind of held on to see if we would break below it. We did break below it, and what I did was I just kept trailing my stop a quarter above each bar. So I actually was stopped out a quarter above this bar here on my final third. So that worked out. No way to capture the full 100% of the move, but obviously when it bounces, then you will get stopped out once it takes out that high, and it did here. So stopped out on my final third. So worked out nicely. If you weren't already in that trade, you could have gotten in under this bar here. Wouldn't have suggested getting in under this bar, even though you closed outside the channel and everything's in line to take it, because you do have that support area there right below you. So if I wasn't already in this trade, I would have opted to enter in under this bar, and it would have worked out for a point. Then you would move your stop to your entry and be stopped out at break even on your remaining contracts. And this was in the afternoon. I was not trading in the afternoon. I was already done for the day, but you had this here at 12:15. The thing to keep in mind is that you are going against the overall trend, which is down. So if you took that, you would know that you're going against the trend, and that would be for you to decide. Basically, you'd get in above this bar here, maybe with the anticipation of getting up to the close from the previous day, but not something that I would have been willing to do. But looking at the whole picture, you can see that you are obviously outside the channel. You do have room above you, and if you look at the longer tick chart, you do have your MACD in line for a long. If you just want to kind of guess along those lines, like, okay, well, my MACD is in line for a long, I am above my moving average, so that might be enough for you to decide to give that a shot in anticipation of getting up to the previous area of resistance and 50% retracement above you as well. Other than that, really nothing else that you would do in the afternoon except for some range trades. This here, you did get closed outside the channel, but this is late in the day. This is almost 4 o'clock on Friday, so not likely somebody would take that.